Hello, YouTube. It's been a minute, hasn't it? It's been a hot minute. Okay. Hi, guys. I know, it's been a while. Yeah, it's been a crazy December, January, all of it. So I thought, I gotta put some makeup on so that way I feel like a real human. And I thought that along the way I would just fill you guys in on what's been going on with my life. I've taken a big, huge break off of YouTube. And in my previous video, kind of explaining what was going on, I'll leave that up in the cards. I kind of went into things. So I'm gonna catch you guys up. We are in February, and that's what we're gonna do while I get ready, because it'll be time to pick up the kids soon. And I miss you guys. I miss filming. I miss talking to people, and I just want to let you guys know what's going on. We're in my bathroom, and I have the little lapel mic over there, so I know it's kind of echoey in here. You know, we're in my bathroom, people. This is about as raw and real as it gets. So let's go back to the last video and what was going on. I talked a little bit about court, and that is a thing. So I'm going to be very quick with it. There is a court case, and we're going to be doing the custody child support thing. After it's over, I will update you guys on what I thought was worth it, what wasn't worth it, tips I give people, because co-parenting is so important for the health and well-being of the kids, and that has to be first and foremost above egos and everything else. And that has to be, like, you have to constantly remind yourself of that. And I know with our situation, I honestly, like my ex, I like him. He's a nice person. He's a sweet person. But sometimes, you just are thinking above and beyond the person and the well-being of the kids. And that is my absolute first priority. And I'm not going to discuss it yet, but later on I'll kind of talk you guys through what I've learned. So while we're in the case and until the case is done, I'm not going to speak on it. But then afterwards, if anyone has any questions, maybe I'll do a video on what it's like to have an attorney, if I regret that price, what came with it, things I didn't know, you know what I mean? Like, just talking about that aspect of it. But there will be no bashing. There will be none of that, because we don't need it, right? We don't need it. And there's nothing really to talk about in that way. So yes, that was something I did talk about in my last video. It stresses me out, I'm not gonna lie. And I don't love that it has to be done, but sometimes those things just do. And instead of looking at the whole situation like mad at somebody, at least at the end of all of this, it'll be done right. Like, there'll be no gray lines. No one will be confused about their timing. No one will be confused if there are payments to be made or no payments to be made. Everybody will be on the same page because it is a legal document, and for that I am grateful. I'm mixing. I'm currently on this kick and I've always been on a kick with makeup, but I'm really trying not to spend a bunch of money on makeup, and trying to use what I have, and I'll explore more of that in this conversation. I'm trying to pick up the pace. It's hard to be really real and authentic here and explain the things that you're doing and or why, but you have to watch how you say things, because things can be misconstrued and it looks like, you know what I'm saying? So again, when we're talking about the court stuff and all that, I will give you guys an update later from another perspective. But I'm not gonna lie, as a mom, lots of anxiety. So the mix of foundations, I'm literally using a whole bunch of stuff that I've had in my drawers. Number one, because I'm not trying to spend a lot of money. Lawyer was expensive. But also because I'm not working right now. I know, one thing after another. I actually decided to do a 30-day leave from my job, and it just started. Literally, I just started with my leave on Saturday. So Saturday was the very first day of it, and so far it hasn't really sunk in yet. Like, it's more like I'm just had a couple days off, not that I'm like not actually working. And the big reasoning was, when we last talked, was my father-in-law's car accident, right? So father-in-law got in a car accident in December 20th. And selfishly, I was not happy about the timing, because I had a cluster of time off in December, and so did my man. And honestly, it was the first time we were gonna have holiday and time together just to be. Because right now, we're at this point where he works days, I work nights, and his days off are normal classic days off, the weekends, and my days off were Wednesday, Thursday. So everything that you wanted to do had to be planned. So if we wanted to do something on a Saturday, say together, you have to request the time off, get it approved, yada yada. And half the time when I would just request a random Saturday, it's like we're gonna lay around because we're all tired. You've got a bunch of exhausted people running around, and you start to kind of resent parts of your life, and you either change it or you don't. So I am one who has to be shoved off a cliff when I am afraid of change. I like change in some aspects. I'm like, ooh, or new things. But if I am unsure and I'm kind of afraid or scared, you have to push me off the cliff. And that's kind of where I'm at right now. So father-in-law got in a car accident, right? And he was staying with us, and it was right during the vacation time. So in that way, it was a godsend because we were both home during this time. But it was no vacation, let me tell you that. It was like literally the first day of his real vacation was the accident, and I had to call in. So I got a point from work because here we get this phone call that, you know, Dad's been in this car accident. So it was his clavicle and 2 ribs. And we thought it would be some healing time. He's gonna come over and stay on our couch, because we tried to do the back and forth sometime at Dad's house, and it just, no, you can't have, you know, him, my man going back and forth to Dad's house in the middle of the holidays. And literally we spent Christmas Eve here, and then he took Dad back to his house on Christmas Day and ended up spending the night over there. And I finally was like, no, this is not happening. If he wants us to take care of him, it has to be here. And because it's just not fair to our family. It wasn't fair to the kids. It wasn't fair to me. I'm like trying not to be shitty about it, but I'm like, it's Christmas night. I finally have everybody together. My kids weren't going anywhere. You know, when you have blended families, a lot of the times that kind of thing happens where it's like, oh, they're going to go to their dad's on Christmas night. Nobody was going anywhere. So it was like, yes, we're going to be at home. I got this ham. It wasn't even about the dinner. We could have eaten anything. It was just us all finally being together on the holiday. And because his sister was coming to visit Dad on Christmas, they went back to Dad's house. And I carried a lot of resentment, like, hey, my life is being affected. Where's the phone call of, hey, this is what we want to do? Not, we're going to go visit dad at dad's place because that's what we want to do. And then I also looked at it like, hey, if you're going to come in and give people breaks, ask when we need the break, right? Not, because that day was covered, and that's kind of how I was feeling about everything. We got over all that. I kind of have to learn this whole time has taught me a lot about people and seeing the goodness in what they do, and also realizing it's okay for people to say no. It's okay for people to say, this is all I can handle. Because I'm a yes person, I don't like to say no. And there's a beauty to accepting people for being honest. When someone can say, no, I can't do this, it's too much for me. It was at first like, what? And then I go, I understand, I get it. But something completely new to my life and understanding, okay? So fast forward, dad's here. It wasn't like a imposition, really. He kind of took up a little spot on the couch. He was in the hub of the home. So by him being directly in the living room, it was like he just instantly became part of the family. And it was easy enough for us to take care of him. My man could sleep on the couch and be there for him during the nighttime. But when it was coming back to us going back to work, that's when things started to get a little bit hairy. Dad was not improving, okay? He, if anything, was going the opposite. So he'd have the physical therapist come, and the next day he couldn't do a whole lot. And part of it is, it's like, how do you tell if somebody's being lazy, and how do you tell if they really can't do things? Because dad likes it when people do things for him. You know, it was very apparent that he was enjoying all of that. So you kind of, it's like almost dealing with a kid. You're like, you gotta do your homework. Dad, you gotta do your PT, or we're never gonna get any better. So then all of a sudden, there was one day I had gone back to work. The man had poker. He plays poker once a month. It's kind of his like one thing for himself that has nothing to do with me or the kids or work. And we had planned for his sister to come and sit with dad, be with dad for the night. And she made him dinner, and she cleaned my stovetop. She brought a magic eraser, and I was nervous. I was nervous about having her at my house when I wasn't there, because she's incredibly OCD, and she's a clean freak. And then I was like, should I be offended that she's gonna go clean my kitchen? And I'm like, nah, it's cool. Someone's cleaning my kitchen, that's fine. So she made dad dinner and hung out, and she worked out my boyo. Troy stayed here with her, and it was an overall good night until the next morning. So I got home from work that night at, I don't know, 11, 12, 1 o'clock. It wasn't like I got home super early, but I didn't stay at work all night long. And I heard a yelp, which was my dog, and I jumped out of bed. And I usually, when I'm down, I'm down. But for whatever reason, I heard the dog. I jumped up to make sure something had, you know, he was okay. And I think he got his like claw caught in a blanket or something. So I jump up and I run down the hallway, and Donnie's sitting there grabbing the urinal, because dad was using a urinal at night, the little like cup to pee in. And Donnie's grabbing it, and he goes, oh my God, Dad, your piss smells like shit, and has it right up to his face. And it's dark, it's like 5:30 in the morning, and he gets to like the light switch, and he goes, oh my God, the urinal's covered in it. So I'm like trying to wrap my head around how that could possibly happen. How do you get poopy on the pee-pee container? Like, how does this happen? And Dad's like, what? What's going on? Blah, blah, you know, not fully understanding what has happened. And then you're just like in panic mode, like, oh my God, is there crap everywhere? So I'm looking over here down the hallway and I'm like, Dad, don't touch anything. Please, just don't touch anything. As he's like, what? What's going on? You're like, oh, please, please. Just mortified that there was going to be poopy everywhere. Also, at this point, it's getting harder and harder for Dad to walk. We had to use the wheelchair to get him to the toilet. It was just a hard thing. And so we managed to get him into the bathroom, clean it all up, and he had gone poo throughout the night and did not realize it. So at this point, we're blaming my sister-in-law for her like organic food. We're like, oh my God, you can never give him like your organic cruelty-free chili ever again. Like, you cleaned out his system. And then we kind of just went about the day, but it literally took like 3 hours to get everything cleaned up because all the blankets and the bath alone took quite some time, and making sure all the areas were properly cleaned. Sorry, I should have done like a trigger warning before this, but I'm a terrible person. So anyway, throughout all of that, we finally get it cleaned up. I'm exhausted, and I gotta turn around and go back to work at 5 o'clock. And we're kind of at this point going, what would we have done if this had happened on Monday morning when Donnie wasn't there, when it was just me? How am I gonna handle this kind of thing moving forward? And there's constantly been this whole thing of, are we being irresponsible? Should Dad be in a facility? And the whole time he's like, no, I don't want to be in a facility because his wife died in one of those facilities. I'm not saying the facility killed her. It was just, you know, people tie those things together. So we get through the day. The day's okay. And then Dad starts he's like not able to control his urine. He's just peeing and peeing and peeing, and he can't stop. So I had gone to work, I came home, and he's literally holding himself, and he's like, I can't get it to stop. So like I ran over to Walgreens and I made an eggplant diaper. I have a sibling who is disabled, and that's one of the things that my mom does. She literally takes like a newborn diaper and a maxi pad, and you slide it in, and then you wrap it around the pinnacle to keep you from having to change diapers over and over and over while still keeping someone fresh and clean. So I managed to make Dad this diaper. And you know, you learn a lot about yourself, things that you didn't think you could handle, things that you never thought you would do. And let's be real, like I don't have a dad. It's not like me and his dad were super close. I love him, but I don't think I've ever been that close to anyone before. So now we're on that Monday, okay? So on that Monday, the peeing's still happening. The urine is getting darker. And I thought Dad had a fever. And I was concerned that he had an infection and he needed to go to the hospital, to a doctor, to something, right? And Donnie was already on his way to work. Work for him has been a whole nother ballgame. The company has had some changes, and because he was on vacation, they really needed him to like come back to work and come back strong, right? So Anyway, he was like off to work, and then him and his sister had both called me and were like, okay, just call the ambulance and they'll take Dad to the hospital. And at this point, Dad was kind of stable. He wasn't feeling great, but I had some things that I had to do that morning. And I know this sounds selfish, but he was good. He was resting. He was tired. And they're calling me, telling me, oh, you should call the ambulance right now and blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, listen, the minute that you make this my job on me to do, I'm going to do it according to when I feel like doing it. Please know that I meant to do it within an hour, within 30 minutes, whatever. But it's like, I'm on my way dropping Aslan off at school. I've got to go do this and this and this. Does it really matter if I do it right now on my way back or if I do it in a half hour? So I think in between all of that, Donnie just decided to take over. And at first I thought he was mad at me, but really I knew that he just wanted to take care of it, get it done, and he didn't want to leave Dad solo, because that was the other thing. Once you take them to the ER, I would be in there until he got seen. And it's fine if it's till 2 o'clock, but I don't know about you guys, sometimes you can spend a long time in an ER. So who's gonna pick up my kids? Who's gonna do X, Y, and Z? So Donnie turned around and took his dad to the ER. He was in the ER for 12 hours. 12 hours before it all, like, Dad got seen. And they have these awful pictures of him, like, sitting in the corner in his wheelchair in the ER once they were inside, but still not being seen. Now, this is before the coronavirus became a really big thing, but everybody had the flu, right? Everybody's sick. So they get him in, and they were going to send him out and just call, give him some antibiotics or whatever. And then upon further investigation, they thought, oh, he might have sepsis. I don't know about you guys, but when you Google sepsis, it's a death sentence. So I'm freaking out. His sister's freaking out. His brother is now coming from, Northern California. And Donnie's the only one that's like, it'll be fine. So after they get Dad settled in and he's got a room, it's not sepsis, it's a really bad bladder infection. And the doctor said, you know what, he needs to be in a rehab center for 2 to 3 weeks. Then he can work on his body, the legs, the other issues. Nothing to do with the accident, mind you, but the knees and the legs just weren't working, and it's just the best course of action. Now, along this whole journey, his sister was really about that the whole time. Like, maybe if he would have been in a rehab facility, he wouldn't have been in the ER. And of course, I am sensitive, and I'm taking it as, what, you didn't think we did a good job? And I didn't ever say those things. That's how I was feeling. I'm not one to, I'm not going to be confrontational like that. There's no reason to be, but it was off-putting to me. So fast forward, at the very same time we're going through all of this, Donnie's aunt, which is Dad's sister, falls and breaks like her whole femur, like the whole leg. And then all of a sudden she's got to have this surgery, but she's super high risk because she's had like a heart surgery recently, and nobody wants to do this surgery. And she wants the surgery because she's like, I'm not going to live the rest of my life not able to walk or do anything. So it's just a crazy time for our family. Then it kind of also felt like a pause too. Like, okay, Dad's stable. He's going to be in this rehab center. We can just figure out what life is right now, and everybody's moving forward. And of course, you guys already know, I told you that I was dealing with having to do court and not understanding all of those things and being very, very freaked out about it all. Where are we at with this story? Okay, so Dad's in the rehab, blah, blah, blah. Now, they found somebody to do the surgery on Aunt, And then they put her in a rehab center. Not the same exact one the dad was in, but pretty close. And everybody's saying that she's doing way better than dad, right? Because, you know, she had her surgery and it just seemed like it was on the up and up. Well, all of a sudden, next thing you know, she's in ICU and being exited out of this rehab facility, and everybody's saying it's like this monstrous place and just awful, right? And then they ended up taking her home, and 3 days later, which was last Saturday, she passed away. You can bet your bum that everybody is now like, of course you're sad that this happened to Auntie, but then it shifts to, well, how's dad feeling about that? That was dad's sister. And we don't want dad to feel like he's gonna die alone in one of these like rehab facilities, and what's gonna happen next, and yada yada. So, where are we at now? Dad is getting out of the facility in a few days. And it's gonna be me. I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna bring him home, and that's why I'm on leave, because it makes no sense for me to work in the middle of the night, take care of dad and kids all day long. I just need some time to figure out if I can do this, what I can handle, and that I can actually afford to do this, because I just got pushed off the cliff and now I'm gonna jump, right? So that's where I've been. That's how life is going. I'm kind of excited and nervous. I have a good job. I like what I do. But I'm highly emotional, and it doesn't always work out very well for me, because I tend to take some of it home with me, and I can't just do the job and let things go. So I'm gonna throw on some brows and I'll be right back. Okay, so I got some eyebrows on. What else can I tell you guys? I mean, a lot. I'll have to go more into detail. I'll have to have like a little what happened on my birthday. A really bad day. But then it ended up turning out to be so cool. Like, the actual day itself was like a nightmare, kinda. And then afterward was like, oh. More to talk about. But I don't want this video to be too long. I'm just gonna throw on some blush and highlight, move on, and we'll have another video later. So, oh yeah, and I shaved off so much of my hair, which I do love as well. So, throwing on some blush before I gotta go get kids. So this is where I'm at right now. Okay, guys, I am taking 30 days. I'm gonna see if I can be his in-home healthcare nurse. If I can swing all that, who knows if I will be going back to work or not. It's a matter of seeing how things fly. I have hopes and dreams of going back to school. Hey, why not, right? Why not add something else to the pile? But if dad's here and he's doing better, why not? So that's the other thing. He was not able to walk. He was still using a diaper. And so it was like, can I handle this? Can I not handle this? What is my work and my life and everything doing to my relationship? Are we all okay? Sometimes you gotta take like a visual and a mental, am I okay? Are you okay? How is everybody doing? So, Dad will be here soon. I think Wednesday is the official day, but I'll know for sure by the end of the evening. I am just going to take the time to make all the phone calls that I need to make and take care of some things in the in-between, move some furniture around because we're getting a hospital bed, and that's kind of where we're at. I never thought that this would be my life. I never planned to have kids, let alone a bunch of kids. I'm extremely fertile. I never thought that I'd be in the position where I'd be taking care of an adult parent, at least not at this point in my life. But there have been so many things that have taught me a lot about myself, some things that make me feel good about myself, some things that make me feel not so good about myself. And it's a beautiful thing to go, I want to change this. When you've been unhappy with certain things for a long time, sometimes it's hard to be like, nah, I'm gonna change this. And again, I think I've mentioned before, my job it's a cool job, but for a long time I've wanted more. I've wanted more out of what I call a career or my job. And maybe this is my gateway. I guess in the next 30 days we'll see. Anyway, guys, that's my little update. I'll have to talk to you guys soon about the birthday and what that entailed, because I got some shopping. These are tennis shoes. These are UGG tennis shoes. They're having a big ass sale right now, a closet sale. These are the NYE, and they're awesome and they were cheap. So that video will be coming up soon. I hope to film more. I'm sorry, we might end up filming in all kinds of places. We might be in cars, we might be in hospitals, we don't know. But along the way, I hope to take you guys on this ride that is my life journey, because I do enjoy YouTube and I missed you guys. So as always, guys, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Mwah. Bye. If you've made it this far, then subscribe. And here's more videos you can watch over here or over here or over here. Click them all.